Hi, this is Chris Burgess, and today we're going to look at the Twin 2 synthesizer from FabFilter. I downloaded the 30-day free trial here because Sonar X3 Producer's synths seem to be completely undocumented and not quite as nice. So let's create a preset that sounds a bit like the introduction to one of the tracks on Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. To do this, we're going to need a constant single note, so I've added a MIDI note to the instrument track at C3 and I'm looping over it. Let's listen to it. Well, that starts a little slowly and the level drops, so let's fix that by modifying the attack time in the main envelope generator and increasing the sustain level up to the top. The other parameters actually won't make any difference here. The main decay, you can set the time for it to decay, and then the time that the sustain holds for, and then the release time. Won't matter because it's a constant note, so they don't make any difference. We're going to need an arpeggiator, and we can accomplish this by adding a low-frequency oscillator and using it to modulate the frequency of the oscillator. So let's first look at the oscillator parameters by clicking on the oscillator button. This is the G-tune parameter, so we want this source to control this destination. We can make an arpeggiator by actually building our own waveform by setting the levels. And I'm going to choose 8 levels. And construct it as follows. Now we want the transitions to be much sharper, so we set the glide all the way to 0. And let's listen to that. That sounds great. Okay, let's close the details pane on the oscillator by just clicking on the oscillator button. You can see also that the M here means that this oscillator is being modulated by something. Okay, now we can have some fun. Let's add an XY controller, and we're going to use this to control 3 parameters: the left-right pan, the frequency cutoff of the filter, and the peak of the filter. Let's start with the XY pan. The pan is actually not visible as far as I can tell, so we can still control it by just clicking on plus, and then looking at all the things that you could possibly control with this modulator, and select pan. Then we're going to control the filter, so let's click on the filter to get its parameters. And we're going to use X to control the cutoff frequency and Y to control the peak. Okay, let's listen to that. So Dark Side of the Moon was co-produced by Alan Parsons in the early 70s, and I'm sure it took him a lot longer using the tools available then to produce the kinds of sounds we were able to produce today in about 3 minutes using a modern synth. I enjoyed working with FabFilter's Twin 2, and one of the best things I thought about it is that the documentation is always easily available. You just have to leave the mouse over a button and up it pops. And there's also an online PDF, and the most bewildering things about these kinds of tools is the number of buttons and what they all do. So to me, this is a big deal. So thank you for watching, and good luck with your creative endeavors, and I look forward to your comments.